Davis. Hush.
Sorry, I was laughing at something very funny.
I know you were. Okay. So, review from last week. 4.1. We were given 2 points. And from those 2 points, we're able to write an equation of a line in slope, intercept form. What is slope-intercept form?
Y equals mx plus b.
Y equals mx plus b. So we need 2 things there, don't we?
Yes.
What 2 things do we need?
Y-intercept.
The b, which is the y-intercept,
And the M.
and the m, which is the slope. Okay? Do we know one of them already?
Yes.
Which one?
Y.
Both.
Slope.
Can't we find both?
Slope.
Yeah, but one of them
Slope
we don't
y.
necessarily have to find per se. It's already there.
Because of the 0.
Right. The y-intercept we already know. What is the y-intercept going to
9.
be? Yeah, it's the 9. Okay?
How do we know that?
So, because it has a 0 as its x.
Yeah.
Y'all remember that?
I knew that.
Okay, so we know the plus b part. We still need to find the m, right? How do we find the m?
We do
Or ABC.
y2 and y1 and then
Yeah,
do
we
x.
use the slope formula.
M.
y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Now, there are 2 different ways to do this. Okay, we could have just plugged in the formula, right? And then done the math. Or we can look at our y's and the number line, right? How do you go from -5 to 9?
You
Plus
Minus.
14.
Minus.
We're going to have to add, right?
Oh yeah.
To go from -5 to 9, way down there, you're going to have to add 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, right?
Yes.
So it's a positive, so add 14, okay? And how are we going to go from 3
Subtract.
to 0?
Subtract 3.
You
3
minus
to
3.
0, you would minus what?
3.
3,
Minus tree.
okay? Now, a positive and a negative make a negative. So this is negative 14 over 3.
Woo.
And that's our slope. What's the other way to do it? Plug the numbers in, right?
Yes.
x1, y1, x2, y2. Alright, so what is y2?
0.
Negative 9.
9 minus y1,
Negative 5.
-5. Be careful here and notice this minus is a minus. This is a negative. Over x2
0.
minus x1,
3.
3. And you can type that straight to the calculator, okay? If you were to press the N over D button, you can put 9 minus -5 on top, 0 minus 3 on bottom, and it'll do all the math for you and give you negative 14 over
3.
3.
I think it's easier.
Okay, so it's up to you. Whichever way makes the most sense to you is the way that you need to do it. I don't care which way you do it as long as you get the right answer. Okay? So are we done? Did we write an equation in slope-intercept form? How do we know it's in slope-intercept form?
Because it's y equals mx plus b.
Right, it's y equals mx plus b. Y is by itself.
Miss Finn,
Yes.
is your lit classwork today?
You're probably going to have homework.
Homework's usually short.
I have so much homework.
All right,
I need to
let's do one more of these, and then we're going to move on to today's. All right? I want you all to get it in slope-intercept form. Y equals mx plus b. What are you going to have to find first? The The y-intercept. What is the y-intercept?
Is it negative 6 over 1? Is that the slope?
Negative 2 is our y-intercept. How do we know it was negative 2 and not 4?
Because that is 0.
Because it had a 0 as its x. Okay? Are we going to put plus negative 2? No. We're just going to put minus 2. And we still need to find the, what?
6 over
Slope.
1, right?
The slope. Okay?
Isn't it negative 6 over 1?
Alright. Remember, y's go on top. How do you go from negative 2 to 4?
Plus 2.
Now,
You add
6.
You're going to have to add,
6.
6.
right, negative 2.
Oh, yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Add 6. Okay? Now the y's. How do you go from 0 to negative 1?
Minus 1.
Minus 1. Okay? That basically just says 6 divided by negative 1, doesn't it? What is 6 divided by negative 1?
Negative 6.
Negative 6. Why would we not just keep it over 1?
Because it's negative.
Well, it's not simplified, right?
Oh.
We're going to change that to make sure it's a negative 6x minus 2. Okay, y'all needed to make sure that it was over 1 when we were graphing, but are we graphing now? No, we're not graphing now. Okay, now we're writing everything in simplest form, and having it over 1 is not a reduced fraction. We okay so far? Yes.
Since like you do y2, like sorry, like wouldn't the 4 minus negative 2 that would equal
This equal to regular 6.
negative.
Right. 4 minus negative 2 over negative 1 minus 0. That becomes a positive 6, but this is still a negative 1.
So you divide.
And 6 divided by negative 1 is negative 6. Hush. Alright. So what do you think happens? Why were we able to do this so easily?
Because literally it gave us everything we need.
It gave us everything we needed, right? How do we know what the y-intercept is?
Because that's 0.
Has a 0 as its x. What happens, what do you think is going to happen when we have 2 points and neither of them have 0 as its x? We're going to have to do something a little bit harder, right? That's what today's lesson is. Okay? So 4.1 was when it basically gave you everything you needed, right? 4.1 is when one of the points has a 0 as its x. 4.2 is when none of the points have a 0 as its x. Alright? Neither of those points have a 0 as its x, do they? Connor. One of those is missing a top. Now quit playing. Now quit playing with them. Thank you. You don't need that many markers over there. Alright. So, on this one, we still want it in slope-intercept form, but because we can't look at it and tell what the b is, we can't immediately go straight into slope-intercept form. We're going to have to start with another equation first. And that equation is called point slope formula. Alright? So what 2 things do you think we're going to need for point slope?
Point.
And
Slope.
yeah. We're going to need a point and a slope. Okay? So we're going to need a point and a slope. Well, we have 2 points, right? Do you think it matters which one we use? No, it doesn't. Okay? And how can we find the slope?
By
Putting the
Track.
numbers together.
The slope formula, right?
Yeah.
The y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So we still have everything we need except what the point slope formula is. Here's the point slope formula. Y minus y1 equals m parentheses x minus x1. Do we ever plug anything in for y and x? No, but will we plug stuff in for y1 and x1? Yes. Will we plug something in for m? Yes. Okay? So just remember that we're not plugging things in for y and x. That's why they don't have a 1 or a 2 on it. Okay? They stay y and x. It's y1 and x1 that's going to change. All right, so we've already discussed that we've already got a point. Okay? We just now need to find the slope. So again, x1, y1, x2, y2. y2 minus y1, x2 minus x1. What is y2? 5 minus y1, 4. x2
-3.
minus 2. What is 5 minus 4?
1. 5. 1 over 5.
What,
Not
negative
5,
five, negative
negative 5.
Boy!
Okay, remove the negative out front, right? So our slope is negative 1 over 5, right? So I can plug that part in. Okay, remember we're not plugging anything in for y and x, are we? So I'll leave that x, leave that y. So I need a minus and a minus here. Okay. Now all that's left is plugging in what? Y1 and x1. Okay? What is y1?
4.
4. What is x1?
2.
2. Does everyone see where I got those? Right over here. We labeled them x1, y1 when we did the slope, didn't we? That gave them to us whenever we had to plug in over here.
Oh.
Now, is this in slope-intercept form?
No.
No, what form is it in?
It's in point slope.
Point slope. How do we get something in slope-intercept form? What has to be by itself? The y has to be by itself, okay? And in slope-intercept form, are there any parentheses? No, there are not any parentheses. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to get rid of the parentheses. How are we going to get rid of those parentheses?
Dividing.
Not dividing, but
Adding.
multiply, shark fin it.
Oh.
Okay? Are we doing anything to this side yet? No, we leave it y minus 4. We're just shark finning this side to get rid of the parentheses. What is negative 1/5 times x?
Negative 1/5 x.
Negative 1/5 x. Okay?
Minus.
Negative 1/5 times negative 2. First off, what's a negative times a negative?
A positive.
A positive, so it's no longer a minus, is it? It's a plus now. 1 over 5 times 2. That's really a 2 over 1, isn't it? Well, 1 times 2 is
2. And 5.
5 times 1 is
5.
5. Okay? We okay so far?
I guess.
All I did was shark fin. You could have typed this part, negative 1/5 times negative 2, into the calculator and it would give you the same thing.
Wait, how do you get the negative 4?
What?
Negative 4, like that's the...
I don't have a negative right here. That was y1
Like, actually, it's y1.
because that was a formula. We're just plugging straight into the formula. All right. Is this in slope-intercept form yet?
Y is still not by
Yes.
itself.
No.
No, because y is not by itself yet. What's keeping y from being by itself?
Subtract 4.
A minus 4, so we need to do what?
Add.
Add 4. Are we going to be able to add 4 to this x right here?
No.
But can we add it to the 2 over 5? Yes. All right. In your calculators, you just type in 2/5 plus 4, and it should give you 2 over 5. But I want y'all to give it to me as a decimal.
How do you go 2/5 over
press N over D button, and then 2 on top, 5 on bottom. Arrow over, plus 4.
How do you?
Arrow over that. Oh, okay, so this is confusing. I'm lost.
Press N over D.
I got like 2 early.
Arrow over so that it's out of the fraction.
Oh.
Plus 4. 22 over 5. But we want a decimal.
So
So press
22 divided by 5. That's probably harder. 4.4.
So after you got a decimal from that, you should have gotten 4.4.
What could I have done, you said? If it was 22.
If you'd had that, just press this button.
And it gives you.
And if you ever have it, press it again, and it'll go back to it. Yep.
That's the coolest thing ever.
Is it in slope intercept form now?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. How do we know?
Because the y is by itself.
And it looks like
X.
what?
MX must be
Okay. So what's our slope?
1 over 5.
Negative 1 over 5. And what's our y-intercept?
4.4.
4.4.
We're not going to have to graph these on the test, are we?
No.
Okay, good.
You won't have to graph these, okay? We're done graphing until, until chapter 5. But,
That's like
Sorry.
after Thanksgiving.
and then like chapter 7. Okay. Yeah. But it's just a short little section where we're graphing.
This is cool. I like this. That's fancy.
All right, let's do this is right here is just going to have to take practice, guys. All right?
So what kind of? Why is this math in another library?
Because
we're
you
not
need it
ready
to
yet.
pass this class. And
We'll
if you
never
don't pass this class, then you can't move on to the next math.
Well, what happens when I'm like living in my house?
It might not, but for right now, it may not have anything to do with your job. But you can't get a decent job if you don't graduate high school. So,
Yeah.
you can't graduate high school if you don't pass this class.
It says I'm
So you need this to pass class. All right.
It's just their job to teach us.
Throw it away. There's garbage in there right now.
Sorry.
boy.
All right, first thing you're going to do is you're going to look at your points and you're going to decide, do I already know the y-intercept? Do we know the y-intercept
Yes.
yet?
No. We gotta
Why
find
not?
it, because we gotta do the slope intercept.
But why do we not know
There's
the
no
y-intercept?
zero.
There's no 0 as the x, right?
We can still find it.
No, but are we given the y-intercept? No. In order to be given the y-intercept, you have to have 0 as the x.
Isn't the y-intercept like 5? Like,
No.
no. What am I thinking?
Hilton over here.
Sorry. All right.
No, because it doesn't have a 0. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
I gotcha.
In order to be given the y-intercept, one of the x's has to be 0. Neither of these x's are 0. So are we going to be able to go straight into slope-intercept form? Go pick it up.
No, you have to do y minus
No, we're going to have to use what formula?
1.
What's it called?
Point slope.
Point slope formula. So y minus y1 equals m parentheses x minus x1. What are we going to find first? Our,
M.
right, our slope. Okay? What is the formula for slope?
Y equals y2 minus y1.
It negative 12.
X2 minus Y2.
So remember, label your points.
Already said that.
Y'all find the slope. Y'all should be able to do that part by yourself.
Negative 12 over 20.
Wouldn't it be negative 12? No. Once you divide it.
Okay, again, your calculator will do all of that for you. All you have to do is be able to recognize x1, y1, x2, and y2, right? You should have gotten negative 12 when you did all that. Okay, so I'm going to plug that in right here. So y, am I plugging anything in for y? No. Minus y1. What is y1? 5 equals m. What's m? Negative 12, parentheses. Am I plugging anything in for x? No. Minus x1 is negative 2. Notice I had, this is the minus from the problem, right? This is a negative that's attached to the 2, correct? What are those two minuses going to make?
Positive.
Yeah, it's just going to make plus. You okay, Ashley? All right. So we have everything plugged in now. So all we have left is to get, we have to get it in which formula? Slope-intercept form. Okay. What am I going to do first? Add 5 or shark fin, right? Negative 12 times x is, thank you, negative 12x. Negative 12 times positive 2 is negative 24. So I did the shark fin. Is it in slope-intercept form yet? No. What do I still have to do? Get the y by itself. What's keeping it?
Plus 5.
Yeah, we got to plus the 5. Can I plus the 5 to the negative 12x? No, but can I plus it to the negative 24? Yes. So y equals negative 12x. What is negative 24 plus 5?
Minus 19.
Negative 9.
Yeah, negative 19.
Now is it in slope-intercept form?
Yes.
Yeah.
What's your slope?
Negative 12 over 1.
Negative 12 over 1, or just negative 12. And what's your y-intercept?
Negative 19.
Negative 19.
How'd you get 24?
19.
Did you time
Negative 12 times 2. That's what shark fin is.
Stored.
Multiply.
Yes. Yes.
We've got a little leakage over here.
I know. Hopefully over Thanksgiving they'll fix that. But then again, they said
Don't hold your breath.
over fall break they'd fix it. So we'll see what
I'm
happens.
getting pelted over here.
Well, you can move it. There's plenty of other seats.
Yeah.
I'm ready for Thanksgiving.
All right. There we go.
Captain Kirk?
Which formula are we going to have to use? Slope intercept or point slope?
Slope.
Point slope. Why?
Because there's no 0.
There's no 0 as the x. Okay? What is point slope formula?
Y minus Y1 equals M.
X minus
X.
Alright. What are you going to find first?
You gotta do
Right, the m. This is, remember, we go ahead and label x1, y1.
3 is 9 minus negative 7. That is
Alright, again, you can type this in straight into the calculator and it'll do the work for you. Or you just press the N over D. Okay, it'll even reduce it for you if it needs to be reduced.
It's too confusing.
Press N over D.
You know, these steps are so many steps.
Negative 9 minus
negative 7.
negative 7. Arrow down.
Is it 16?
negative 8 minus negative 4.
Oh, you said everywhere.
I can't look up there.
And then press enter.
16 over 12.
What it give you?
16 over
1/2. So 0.5.
Yeah. Okay, so again, like I said,
That's
it goes
confusing.
ahead and it reduces everything for you, right? Because
No.
if we go through and do this,
I like doing it
negative
in
9 plus 7 is negative 2.
Yeah, I like doing it in my head.
That's -4.
Negative 8 plus 4 is negative 4. Two negatives make a
Positive.
positive, and both of these are divisible by
2.
2. So 1/2.
Yeah, I
You
like
get the
doing
same thing either way, but the calculator will do it for you if you let it. Okay, this is what calculators are for. I believe that y'all know how to find slope, okay?
I like it.
But I'm not testing you on finding slope. I'm going to be testing you on getting these 2 points into slope-intercept form, okay? So let the calculator help you so that you can get through it a little bit faster. But if it's faster for you to do it in your head, then do it in your head. But don't stress out over doing everything on paper, because calculators were made to make your life a little bit easier when it comes to things like this, right?
Yeah, but I don't understand how to put it in yet, so I'm just going to stick to the whole head.
Alright, so now we just got to plug everything in. Do we know y1?
It's negative 7.
Yeah. Do we know m?
Yes.
Yeah, we do now. Do we know x1?
Yes.
Yes, so we know everything we need to know, so we can just plug it straight in, right? So y minus, what is y1?
Negative 7.
Negative 7 equals, what is m?
1/2.
1/2, parentheses, x minus
Negative 4.
negative 4. What am I going to do to those two minuses?
Plus.
Not yet. But I make those a plus first, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now we can do shark fin, right, Autumn?
Shark Week. Very shut up.
So y plus 7 equals, what's 1/2 times x?
1/2 x.
1/2 x.
Yeah, it's just 1/2 x. And don't forget, Luke,
9.
that you have to times it times the last number too, right? What's 1/2 times 4?
2.
2.
Yeah.
Multiplying by
0.5
half.
times 4 uses, yeah, 2.
Multiplying by half is just dividing by
Yeah.
2.
Yeah.
1/2 times 4 is
2. I knew that.
2, a positive 2. And if you type that in your calculator, it would have given you the exact same thing. Okay, so 1/2 times 4 would have given you 2. Is it in slope-intercept form
No.
yet?
Minus 7.
We still need to minus the 7. Can I minus it from the 1/2 x?
No.
No, but can I minus it from the 2?
Yes.
Yes.
Negative 5. Right?
So y is by itself finally.
Equals 1/2 x plus, no,
2
subtract 5.
minus 7 would be negative 5, making it a minus 5. What's your slope?
1/2.
What's your y-intercept?
5. Negative 5.
Negative 5.
Good.
Would be better if I drank it sooner. It's kind of got a little flat and hot. All right.
Flat and hot.
Never heard of that from a Coke standpoint.
Jerry, we need your comments too.
All right. Which formula am I have to go into?
Not the point, the other one, the slopey slope,
The first
slope or
one.
slope.
Slope intercept. Why?
Because it's 0.
We have a 0 as the x now, don't we?
Yeah.
So do we have to go through all that work?
Oh.
Crap, no.
No. All we got to do is find the what?
The x and the y.
No.
The slope and the y.
The slope.
Oh, Jerry.
X is slope.
Jerry.
What is the formula we're going to use? What's it called?
It was
Y equals mx plus b.
for
So all we need is m and b. We know which one already, just from looking.
Y intercept.
Yeah, we know the b. Y equals
4.
4. Now we just got to find the m. So y'all go ahead and find slope.
x1.
Do it.
equals 9 over 2x plus 1.
Huh?
9 over 2. 9 over,
What's
no,
this marker
negative,
doing up here?
negative 9 over 2. Negative 9 over 2.
Alright.
9.
X1, Y1, 2Y2.
Guts.
4 minus negative 5. 0 minus 2. That becomes a plus, right?
Uh-huh.
9 over negative 2. Will that reduce?
No.
No. But we're going to put the negative where? In the middle.
He's not giving me back.
That's
my
right.
phone. He's doing it. He's- yeah, that's fine.
So what's our slope?
Negative 9 over 2, and the
What's the
y-intercept is 4.
Like,
Yep.
1,000.
So that one was a lot shorter, right?
Yes, I like
Yeah.
those.
Could you have done this using point slope, you think?
Probably.
Yeah, but you would have had to have gone through a lot of steps that weren't necessary, right? That's why I teach the easy one first. That way when we get to the hard, you already know the easy and you don't have to go through those steps again. Which formula are we going to have to use?
Y equals mx plus
The
b.
slope
Nope.
formula.
Not.
Well, find the slope. Find
the-
the
Oh, y
decimal,
minus
decimal.
y, point
No?
slope.
Point slope formula.
Because zero's in the wrong spot.
Yeah, because we needed 0 as the x, and they gave us 0 as the y. So we can't use slope intercept here.
That's rude.
All right, so y minus y1.
You just wanted us to get it wrong because you knew the answer, but we didn't.
So we already have x1 and y1, don't we? We just have to find the slope, right? And have you noticed that in all of these, we already have part of it? We just always have to find the
So,
slope. Slope's always the part that we don't know, okay? So slope's always going to be what you have to find. 8 minus 0, 7 minus negative 4. 7 plus 4 is 11.
But sure.
You double checking that?
Yeah, it's 0.
oh.
It's
7, 8, 9, 10.
Zero.
11.
Okay, imagine you have a bowl for
Okay, imagine that you're not talking. Okay,
I can't
am I plugging
imagine that.
something in for y?
well, I can't imagine.
Do I ever plug anything in for just a y?
No.
No. Minus
Zero.
y1, 0.
Equals 8 over 11.
Right, we now know m is 8 over 11.
X minus negative 4, which becomes positive.
Right, x minus negative 4, and that does become one big
Okay.
plus. Now, what is y minus 0? It's just what?
Y minus y, basically, right?
0.
Y. I have y, and I take nothing from it.
Why?
So I still have
Why?
y.
Why?
Yeah, that's what I said.
But
Y
why?
minus-
Why?
Oh, I thought you said it's basically y minus y, and I was like,
Yeah, it's,
no.
oh, but
Why
it's
is
just
it y
y
minus y?
equals. Oh.
Alright. If I had 3 minus 0, the answer would be 3, right?
Yeah.
You take
Yeah.
nothing from 3, it's still 3.
Mhm.
You take nothing from y, it's still y.
Reach.
Negative.
That would be 0 minus y.
If I took 3
All right.
2.
Now, what am I going to have to do on this other side?
And
Shark
I
fin
had
it.
3 biscuits.
8 over 11 times x is what, Jerry?
8. 8 over 11. That is.
Dude, if I
8
took
over
3 from 2, I was on
X.
3 is no longer with.
Don't forget you have to multiply it times the second number also.
That is.
Okay, you can use a calculator on this, and that's fine.
8 times 4, that's 32.
But just
plus-
remember that all that is a 4 over 1, right? To multiply fractions, it's top times top. 8 times 4 is
32.
32.
over 11.
Bottom times bottom
11.
is 11. Now, the only problem here, remember I told y'all in the last time we got a decimal like this? Sorry, last time we got a fraction like this, I told you to get me a
That's
decimal, right?
2.9.
The reason that we want a decimal is because this right here is supposed to represent a slope, and slope has to be a fraction, doesn't it?
Yes.
because it tells you how much to go up and how much to go over. And this represents the y-intercept. The y-intercept is where you start, isn't it? Do you know what 32 over 11 is?
Oh,
No, it's an improper fraction. So that's why we would want to get a decimal so we have a better idea of where to start if we were to graph this. So what was it, Hannah?
2.9.
Okay, so you would just change that 32 over 11 to
That's
2.9. Do y'all know how to change that in the calculator?
Yes. You press that arrow thing.
You can press the arrow button, or you can just type 32 divided by 11.
Is that all for the class? Yay.
No, you still have 7 minutes.
how did someone get a piece of lead?